Hey, this is Ash from Outlier. Today we're going to talk about the differences between native and non-native speakers of Chinese learning Chinese characters. One question that gets asked a lot is, why is it so hard for non-natives when Chinese peoples themselves seem to not have much problems? Well, the short answer to that question is, native speakers have a shorter distance to run, they have more time to get to their destination, they spend more time on task every day, and they have less distractions. It's important to know the differences between native and non-native speakers' learning conditions and situations, because knowing these things will allow you to make more intelligent choices as to which learning materials, strategies, and techniques are better for you. Learning strategies and techniques for native speakers are very likely not to be very suitable for non-native speakers, and here we'll find out why. Okay, when native speakers learn Chinese characters, they've already mastered the spoken language. Tones are so ingrained to them that explaining them to somebody that doesn't understand tones would be difficult. They already know words, they already know grammar, they already know Chengyu, they already know basically how to speak fluent Chinese in most daily situations. They don't need to go to work, they don't have boyfriends and girlfriends, they're only children, right? Every class that they take uses Chinese characters. They get constant feedback from their environment. They live in a Chinese environment. They have roughly 5 years to master the most common characters. And they view Chinese writing Chinese characters as being normal and not some strange or exotic script. Their educational goal is to take a written symbol and attach it to a word that they're already intimately familiar with in the spoken language. Okay, now let's contrast this with the situation with most non-native speakers. Most non-native speakers, when they learn characters, are usually 18 or 19. They've yet to master the spoken language. Tones are very difficult for them. They don't know most words, they don't know the Chengyu, and they don't know the grammar. So they have to try to do all these at the same time. And they generally only have a couple of years to 4 years to learn these things. They have to learn the character strokes, the forms, the meanings, and there's usually more than one meaning, more than one pronunciation. They only use these characters within their Chinese classes, and even then, the language of instruction is generally their own language. So the rest of their classes are in their native language, and most of their Chinese classes in their native language. So the time on task here is a lot less than for native speakers. Most adults have boyfriends and girlfriends. They have jobs, they have other classes they have to take. They just have a tremendous number of things that distract from their time and attention from the learning process. They generally don't grow up or live in an environment that reinforces their learning of characters. They might view the Chinese writing as being strange because they've already learned a different writing system that does things differently than Chinese does. Their educational goal is to simultaneously learn a character's form, different pronunciations, different meanings, the words that the character's used in, idioms, grammar, etc., etc. By now, it should be really clear that the differences between native speakers and non-native speakers when learning Chinese characters are huge. These differences include things like the starting point for their learning, the amount of material that needs to be learned, the amount of time spent on a daily basis on these tasks, and the number of years spent. What you want to take away from all this is, don't feel bad that it seems to be much more difficult for you to learn characters than for native speakers. 2, be wise, be intelligent about the choices you make when choosing learning materials. You also want to be very intelligent when you're making choices as to whose advice to listen to, because a lot of times native speaker advice doesn't work very well for non-native speakers. If you like this video, then please subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And if you're really into the origins and evolution of Chinese characters, then check out our blog. Okay, this is Ash from Outlier. Till next time!